Hey there, this is Teresa, and let's talk abundance. And today I have a very unusual question for you. It's a question that I oftentimes ask and we explore in much greater detail at my November Breakthrough Abundance Live 3-day transformational experience. And the question is simply this: when does a chicken stop being a chicken? Got you thinking on that one, didn't I? If a chicken has a broken wing and it can't, flap its wing, does that mean it's not a chicken? No, it's a chicken with a broken wing. If a chicken loses its voice and can't cluck, 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 does that mean it's not a chicken? Nope, it's just a chicken with laryngitis. If a chicken never crosses the road to get to the other side, does that mean it's not a chicken? No, it's just an unusual chicken. Even if that chicken, is butchered and we're eating it, it's dead, we still call it chicken. It doesn't suddenly become something else. A chicken is always a chicken. It's just in its nature. And I submit to you today that the same thing is true for you. That abundance is in your nature. And you can never not be abundant. Now, unfortunately, oftentimes people think, well, I've got all this debt, so I'm not abundant. Now, I'm not saying that debt is healthy and that it supports you, but it doesn't necessarily make you not abundant any more than a broken wing has a chicken not be a chicken. Or I haven't had much success, or my house is really a bad house and it's run down and broken down and it's a mess. Well, okay, but does that change your nature, the fact that you are abundant? You see, far too often we think of abundance as something having to do with the externals. And so if we don't have certain externals in our life, money, possessions, success, love, relationships, fame, you name it, we think we're not abundant. And so we have to do something to get those things so that then we can be abundant. That's like a chicken thinking it needs to do something to be a chicken. It already is a chicken. To think that those externals are what makes us abundant is to defy the natural and spiritual laws that say our internals, the internals create the externals. To say that, because I don't have X amount of money, or my house isn't a nice house, or I don't have a job, or I don't have a great relationship or something like that, that somehow then I'm not abundant, would be like saying an apple tree isn't an apple tree because it hasn't yet produced red fruit. There are all sorts of trees out there that we call apple trees because that's what they are inside. And yet that internal hasn't yet expressed itself externally in a way that has produced red fruit, but it's still an apple tree. You were created by a source of abundance, the source of all creation. And when you look around in creation, what you see every place is abundance. There's not just one flower. There are a gazillion types of flowers. There's not just one bird or even a million of one bird. There's millions of a zillion different types of birds. We live in an abundant universe. We were created by a source of abundance that you may call God or spirit or universe or Buddha. But if we were created by a source of abundance in that source's image, then our nature is abundant. No matter what our external results are. The other thing that I find interesting when people start to use their external results as a measure of whether they're abundant or not is how short the list of external results are that they use. You know, money, success, material possessions, things like that. You could be homeless on the street, and yet you, in your very nature, are so abundant, and you live in abundance still. Look at the sky, look at the birds, look at nature, look at all the forms of non-monetary abundance you have in your life. Abundance is within you, and abundance is around you. So back to our chicken. You might say that the only time a chicken stops being a chicken is when it thinks it's not a chicken. When it sees this big, beautiful bird flying up in the sky and it says, "I'm an eagle," and it tries to fly like an eagle. Well, it may be trying to be an eagle, but it's still a chicken. Similarly, the only time that you're not abundant is when you think you're not. Only problem is, just like with the chicken thinking it's an eagle, even though it's thinking it's an eagle, it's still a chicken. And even though you may think you're not abundant, especially until you have X and X and X and X and X results, you still are. You have innate abundance, and you live in a world of abundance. So instead of thinking you're not abundant and figuring out what you have to do to get those external results that will make you abundant, I invite you to change your thinking this week, to recognize that abundance is your nature, and you live in a world of abundance. And if there are some external results that you are experiencing in your life, finances, debt, relationships, the success in your business or job, that isn't fully expressing that potential, that nature of abundance that is within you, then I invite you to start to think of yourself as abundant and tap into that abundance, your gifts, your talents, your creativity, the resources you have available to you. Tap into that, claim that, and begin to call on those things and thus take actions that will support that innate abundance to express itself in more ways in your life, to change some of those external results that you want to change. In other words, to recognize your appleness and continue to grow in your appleness so that you can produce apples on your branches. This process of claiming your innate abundance, the abundance that is your nature, and learning how to tap into it and manifest it and express it in the world is a process that requires you to break through some limiting beliefs and some limiting perceptions and some sabotaging patterns that really do stem from the belief that you're not abundant. And these are the things that we break through in my 3-day experience, Breakthrough Abundance Live. So if it sounds like something that might support you, I invite you to head on over to that webpage, www.breakthroughabundancelive.com, and check it out. And no matter what, I invite you to embrace your chickenness today, to get that no matter what, who you are, your very nature is abundant. Recognize it, claim it, call upon it, express that out into the world in your choices, in your actions, and watch the abundant results that show up. This is Teresa, and we're talking abundance, but remember, it's not just about talking abundance. So go out there and live abundance, live the abundance that is your nature today.